Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G here. Guys, I'm gonna get right into this conversation. I was having a chat with a friend of mine and we were talking about why is it that when we look our worst, that is when men are more likely to approach us. Guys, I want to explain to you why this is a huge red flag. Subscribe to my channel and let's have a little chat.
You know I've been mad about you from the first time I laid eyes on you. Well, you're my whole world. What do you want to do, drive me to a madhouse?
No, I'll call you a taxi.
It's happened to all of us, right? We're out, we look our worst. We're not we're not dressed, there's no makeup, barely any look, our hair is a mess. And all of a sudden we meet really interesting guys. Men are approaching us left and right. And it's just I wasn't even trying. I didn't even do anything. I wasn't trying to even look cute, right? But then all of a sudden it's just dudes everywhere, right? I'm going to tell you why that is. That's the version of you that they want. They want, hear me out. Here's the thing. They're looking at you and they're like, all right, she's all right. She's not so bad. She doesn't have her nails done. Her hair is not done. That's the standard that they want to keep you at, is when you look a mess. And that is why they're approaching you at that time. That's the version of you that they want to maintain, right? They'd be well, when I met you, you didn't have all this. You didn't expect all that. That's when they use that rhetoric. It was just that's not how I met you. I didn't meet you with your hair done. I approached you in the grocery store when you were in an Afro puff and your sweats. That's the version that they want to maintain. They want to maintain the version that looks like there is no effort. The version that allows them to be basic as well. And that's the way they want to keep you. And that's why it's a red flag. Because what we have to realize is when these men approach us, the era right now that we are in is of men's insecurities. Full stop, period. That's why we see all of these weird ass videos about women and our problems and what we're doing wrong and accountability, and they're talking about all of these things that they don't want to do for women. And all of these things, when you wrap them up and you look at it, it's just a bunch of insecure men shouting. So when you look terrible and men are you do not feed into their insecurities until you get dressed. until you got your hair done, until you did the things that you would normally do to be yourself, right? And that's what when we think about it, when we talk about these men and their insecurities, this is exactly why they are going around the world trying to find fourth world women that they can do as little as they can for and keep themselves basic. They want someone impressed by their maleness and nothing else, right? And we know this issue does not have an ethnicity, right? We know that the manosphere is a place for all incels to unite and come together despite cultural background or whatever else. And we see it in full display. I think the only thing that we as Black women have to be aware of is the Black men who are competing with white men in any space. They're becoming more and more violent towards women, towards Black women. And that's why we see those extra things that are calling for Black women to be harmed and all of these things, because they are so insecure because Black women are winning at the patriarchy. We're becoming the more educated. We are raising our value in the society in which we were given. We're competing against them in the workplace. And sometimes we are surpassing them and competing directly with their competitors. And that's where more of their insecurities are being shown. And that's why they're hating us so much. That's why more and more Black women saying, I'm good being single. I'm good not having to deal with all of this. And it makes them more and more angry. And when they go to those other countries and they don't find the women who are submissive or going to accept them for being basic, they're even more angry at us. Because ultimately what women, more and more women are requiring of men is to raise to our level. not to try and keep us at a level in which they decide is acceptable for us. And when they approach you, when you're looking like hell, they're thinking, this is the level of girl. We're thinking like, well, I know if you like me like this, you can't wait to see version, like the 2.0 version of me, if you like the base model, right? I think that we make that mistake in thinking that. And they're just like, oh, look, I don't have to do nothing. She's got on sweatpants. She got on some broke ass sneakers. Like, that's what they're like. That's the version of you that they want you to show up as, period. Then when they meet you, like the real, like, rest of you, they can't handle it. They don't know what to do with you because they're still stuck on not wanting to rise to the level of expectation that you have. Because, like, we see these guys, they're always, like, shitting on your degrees. They're shitting on your accomplishments. They're like, that's not going to keep you warm at night. Yeah, well, because all of those accomplishments help me have world-class heating. It will be the thing that keeps me afforded into, like, a heated fucking bed. Like, whatever. Yes, it does. That's why like, we don't need a body. And even if we do, at any point in time, we can get that when we want to. They've proven that too. But generally, it's not even worth our time, is it? But this is the thing. Like, that's the thing. They don't want to raise the standard. They're mad at women for competing in the patriarchy and doing better than they are. And it makes them angry, and their insecurities show. And what they are thinking is that when you are out in the world, that when you don't, like, look your best, that you're insecure as well. And you're not going to make them feel worse about themselves. That's the thing. Like, when we have our careers, who do they start talking? They start talking about, like, your supervisor, your boss, who is probably a white guy, right? And then they're like, oh, well, you're submissive to that guy. No, I'm doing my job. Those are two different things. You are comparing yourself to, like, someone who pays my bills. And you're expecting 50-50. And if you're not expecting 50-50, you're expecting me to lower my expectations. Because you don't want to get 3 jobs, sir. You don't want to do those things. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's a red flag. And I was talking to my friend about it, and I'm like, no, you can no longer see these guys as seeing you in your base form. And you're like, it's seeing you at your, like, low, I don't even know what to call it, like your normal, like, not really trying to make an effort, running errands kind of form, and think like, oh, well, they're going to like me even better when I put a little lip gloss on, when I get dressed. No, they're not. Guys, we have to remember these things. Like, we're in the era of insecure men, so we have to be super careful. Guys, subscribe to my channel. I look forward to talking to you in the comments, and ciao, ciao for now.